Welcome back to RetroSupply, home of brushes, textures, and one unshaven dude yelling about thumbnails again. Today we're talking character design. That's right, we're building a full-on original character from scratch by creating a design that actually works. Function, form, storytelling, the whole enchilada. The guinea pig for today is the Crow Walker. He's a sinister scarecrow with gnarled branch-like arms and a serious case of resting stitch face. I'm gonna drag you through my entire process. Ideation, thumbnails, rough sketches, and a final polished drawing. Most importantly, I'm gonna pull back the curtain on my big dumb brain, so you see not just what I draw, but why I'm making these weird decisions. So grab your sketchbook or your iPad and let's get weird. Alright, before you even think about sketching, pump the brakes. Take a second and define the mission. You wouldn't start driving a car without a destination, unless you're a big fan of wasting gas and crying in a Wendy's parking lot. Here's a couple things that I ask myself. What's this character for? Comic, game, animation? What's the tone? Creepy, funny, dramatic? What's the audience? Kids, adults, just me and my therapist? And what role do they play? Are they a main character, a side goon, or the final boss? For my dude the Crow Walker, I knew he belonged in a pulpy vintage horror rag. Something terrifying yet still a bit campy. That meant his design had to have a couple things. A strong, readable silhouette, extremely stylized but still grounded proportions. He should still look like he exists in the same world as comic book style human characters. And a design that's easy to draw and instantly recognizable. I need to be able to draw this guy 800 times without crying. Once you define the mission, you can head on over to step 2. Alright, you know the what and the why. Now for the fun part. Throwing ideas at the wall like an unmedicated Jackson Pollock. I like to make a mind map. In the center, I'll drop the core concept. In this case, creepy scarecrow. And then I just let my brain go nuts, branching out into ideas like themes of vengeance, crows, harvest, horror, stalking, pun intended. Visuals like stitches, burlap, gnarled branches and sticks, straw, ragged clothes, and that unsettling grin. His function. What's his job? Is he just wandering around or is he protecting something? What does he do with people that get in his way? And personality. Is he a silent, spooky killer? Or is he a cackling psychopath? Does he even talk at all? The goal here is to build a narrative skeleton. I'll also sketch tiny doodles. A few visual ideas, maybe some accessories or bits of gear. Nothing perfect, just a mess of fragments. The point of this stage is to expand your brain before you start locking things down. You're building a visual and narrative playground, so get it all out. This is where we finally get to start drawing, and it's super important. A silhouette is a simple design task. It asks, if I turn this character into a black blob, would you still know who they are? You should be throwing ideas everywhere until your page looks like a conspiracy board put together by someone who's definitely not welcome at Chuck E. Cheese anymore. I sketch quick, solid black shapes with different proportions and visual weight. Today I'm sketching on a crispy little paper texture from Funny Papers, RetroSupply's newest paper texture pack. At this stage, I only have the bare essence planned out. Everything else is still up in the air. So I tried a few takes. A tall, gangly build with long limbs, a top-heavy design with wide shoulders and a huge hat, and I even tried one with multiple limbs, just for fun. There's no wrong answers here. I also lean on shape language, which is super important for a monster. Triangles. They usually represent danger, aggression, or a little bit of instability. This is a huge part of his design, from the hat to the sharp angles of his limbs. Squares are all about strength and stability. You don't see many of these on him, probably because he's about chaos, not stability. And circles. Friendliness and innocence. Again, you won't see much of these on his body. He's the opposite of friendly. And remember guys, these are just a jumping off point. They're not set in stone. Not every square character is the pinnacle of strength. You gotta mix and match. That's what separates your designs from the amateurs. Silhouettes aren't just for style, they're for functionality. Your character should be recognizable from a mile away, so the silhouette has to be on point. Okay, once I've got a few solid silhouettes, I'll start doing some thumbnail sketches on top of them. These are small, messy drawings, quick passes to explore costume ideas, accessories, posture, all that good stuff. I'm using a light colored pencil, specifically the fine technical pencil from the Space Ranger pack. When you're thumbnailing, the goal is to get ideas down fast without getting bogged down in the tiny details. Keep it loose and focus on the big picture. You're not polishing anything here. You're just testing what works and what doesn't, kind of like speed dating your own ideas. By the end, you'll probably have a clear favorite. Pick one thumbnail to refine, but don't delete the others. You might come back to them later. Once I've chosen a direction, I start to build a reference board. My board usually has visual texture like burlap, rotting wood, straw, anatomy like skeletons, mannequins, that kind of gross stuff. Characters from other media that might have the right energy, like the Scarecrow from Batman or Jack Skellington. And real-world stuff, like historical farm clothes, abandoned tools, real scarecrows, spooky folk art. With my reference board set, I'm ready to move on from idea to design. Now we start drawing, for real. I start with a neutral centered pose that fits my character's body type and gender. I use the symmetry tool to quickly sketch out a few design options. This keeps things efficient and nails the costume without getting lost in weird poses or perspective. My goals here are to lock in the proportions, define materials and costume elements, and finalize the character structure. But don't stay in symmetry mode forever. It's just for setup. Too much symmetry and it kills the personality. It makes the character look like a robot. This stage is still just a rough draft, so leave room to experiment. At one point, I couldn't decide between two of my outfit options. One of them had a classic comic book villain vibe, but the other was a little more nuanced, and the creepiness came from the childlike nature of his outfit. So I compromised. I took elements from both designs and fused them together, leaving me with one cursed looking dude. And that's what good character design is all about. Solving small visual problems in ways that make the whole design stronger. Once your rough sketch is looking good, it's time for a cleaner pass. This isn't your final line art, but it's where you lock in the actual design. The challenge is to tighten up the drawing without losing any of the energy that made the rough feel alive. Start by clarifying the structure. Make sure your anatomy and proportions are solid, but don't overcorrect to the point of stiffness. You're not redrawing from scratch. You're just sharpening what's already working. Every element should feel intentional. For example, I gave him this silly little bow tie and patches on his overalls, maybe to suggest that he could have been a regular scarecrow brought to life by dark forces. Even tiny decisions like this can subtly tell a story about the character's life and attitude. Once I'm happy with my clean pass, I'll throw on some inks using my favorite inker, the dry fountain pen from the standard pens pack, and get ready to add some color. And here's a pro tip. When you start inking, make sure you turn off the symmetry tool. That uneven, slightly irregular line work adds to the authenticity and energy of your drawing. If you've ever just slapped some colors on a drawing and called it a day, please stop. It's a huge topic and we've already done 2 videos on it, but here's the quick version of my process. I duplicated my clean ink drawing a few times and played with different swatches. No overthinking, just fast, intentional testing. I narrowed it down and picked the one that best captured the tone I was going for. Because I wanted this to feel like a vintage comic, I also wanted the colors to work with halftones. So I used our Color Lab pack to find the closest matching CMYK swatches and applied the halftones directly. It gave me that perfect vintage feel without any of the guesswork. Color isn't about looking cool. It affects readability, mood, genre, and even how a character is emotionally perceived. Color can absolutely make or break a design. Now that the character design is locked in, we're basically looping back to the beginning for our final 3/4 view drawing. Thumbnail, rough sketch, cleanup, but this time we're not guessing anymore. At this point, you've already made your big creative decisions. You know who the character is, what they're wearing, and how they're supposed to feel. The goal now is to translate all that into a clean 3/4 view. This drawing is what defines the character in 3D space. This isn't your dramatic cover art pose. This is a functional drawing. It's meant to show the design from an angle that communicates form, volume, and how everything connects. This version should be accurate, but not stiff. You still want some gesture and rhythm, but clarity comes first. This drawing will become your reference point going forward. If you ever have to redraw the character later, this is the drawing you'll go back to make sure everything stays consistent. Once you've got a final drawing, where you go next kind of depends on your goals. You could do a full character turnaround. Check out our tutorial on that. Draw more poses and expressions. Design their props, like maybe Crowwalker has a scythe or something. Actually, that would be a cool video. Let us know in the comments if you want to see a full prop design tutorial. For me, I'm using this design to create a vintage horror comic book cover. Like something you'd find on your older brother's desk and then regret reading the first couple pages of. And guess what? You're invited to watch me make this entire thing. There's some fine print. If you want more videos like this, breakdowns, tips, and full process walkthroughs, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next one. And if you want the actual tools I'm using, the brushes, the textures, the halftones, all of it, head to RetroSupply.co. It's basically the home base for everything vintage art and design related. Support the channel, support your art, you know the drill. Let's roll the time lapse. And that's the process, from rough idea to fully realized character. And whether you're designing a demonic scarecrow or a bubblegum princess, the steps are the same. Start with purpose, brainstorm like a madman, test silhouettes, refine intelligently, and tell a story with every single choice. If this helped you, hit that like button, subscribe for more tutorials, and check out RetroSupply.co for all the brushes and textures I use to bring the Crowwalker to life. Now, go draw. Go invent something weird. Happy creating.